All right, well, welcome to CrossFit Lincoln Connections. I'm Aaron Perkypile, and I'm excited to be welcoming Cody Smith in. He's our December 2020 Athlete of the Month, a nice close to the year of 2020. Thanks for being here, Cody.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here. Thanks a lot for having me.
Absolutely. Let's just jump right into it. You were telling me before we got started here what you do. Explain that to me again.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a postdoctoral research associate. I research science education in the School of Natural Resources at UNL. And basically that is just someone who has their PhD but is not an associate or assistant professor yet. So I'm working just to get more publications and more on-the-job experience before, plunging into the professorship world of academia.
Do you get to teach it all?
I do, yeah. Thankfully, I've gotten to get some very good quality teaching experience since I've been here so far, and that helps as well.
What's your focus of your research?
So my research focuses on higher education pedagogy and professional development. I've specifically focused on graduate teaching assistants so far, looking at their self-efficacy and how that plays into their teaching.
Okay, awesome. So does that mean that you get to review graduate assistants at UNL?
Yeah, I get to observe them. I get to, talk with them and have interviews with them. I do some surveys of them, and I get to, interact with them in several different departments across the university.
Wow. How did you kind of get into that? Did you graduate from high school and think, I really want to study higher education, science education?
Oh, no. If we're going back to high school, it's been a very windy road to get here. Yeah. But to sum it up, I went back to get my master's a few years after I graduated college, and that was in kinesiology. So I have a background in kinesiology. And while I was getting that degree, I was noticing that a lot of graduate students are in charge of teaching a lot of these introductory courses, and then it's very common across a lot of different departments and across the whole country and all these universities. So I really got interested in learning how prepared are these people for teaching these courses, because it's a really important aspect of education, with undergraduate students being taught by other students, basically. So I just really got interested in learning how they're developed, how they're prepared, and learned that it's not very robust. And so I just wanted to contribute to that and come at improving higher education from that angle.
Sure. Well, I will tell you that I taught for a few years, taught college, and my first year it was, well, you have a degree in this, so go figure it out. And, our professors, our chair and things like that were available for questions. And luckily the professor before me had left a lot of teaching notes and things like that, but it was very much hey, go for it.
Yeah, that's a lot of what we see as far as people's approaches to teaching is how was I taught and what worked for me as a student. But there's more evidence-based and more research-based ways of doing it, and I'm figuring that out for myself. I've been in that position as well. As a graduate student, I was charged with teaching some classes and didn't know what I was doing. So I'm kind of researching other people and that niche of people, but it's also a lot for myself as well, my development as an educator.
Well, you could give us some tips as coaching staff about good ways to connect with athletes and different ways to connect.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be super helpful. And it sounds like that would be something that would be great for anybody who has employees that work for them or work under them.
Oh, yeah.
To be able to learn how to best deliver. Is it based on like learning style and things like that of students?
Learning style and just, really well-researched methods of getting information across to people that keep them motivated, keep them interested, while also retaining information. So, yeah, I think it runs a wide, array of different applications.
Awesome. Well, tell me how you found CrossFit and Lincoln Nutrition and Fitness.
Yeah. So my wife and I just moved to Lincoln in the fall of 2019. So I've been here just over a year. And whenever I moved here, I didn't know a soul other than the people that I was working with. And I'd always had a background in exercise and fitness and wellness, being a kines major for one, but also being a high school athlete and just carrying that over into college, always having a gym associated with the school that I was going to. I was always interested in working out, lifting, and, doing some cardiovascular exercise as well. And, over the last however many years, this movement or industry of CrossFit has been in the background, and just I've been seeing it develop, and not knowing a whole lot of people who have done it, I've gained a greater interest in it over the years.
Sure.
And I think more so lately because, moving from Arkansas, where I'm from, to North Carolina to do a PhD to here, and just not knowing a whole lot of people, it's a great way to get with a lot of people and work out with a lot of people and get to know more people.
Sure.
I was looking for something to continue exercising, but also gain a sense of community and something really challenging. It seems like it's really challenging, or it did at the time, and I've realized that over the last year plus. So that's really what got me into CrossFit, was just that distant interest, but also wanting to kind of get involved with a community of people.
Sure. It's a great way to kind of connect with people from all over the kind of the spectrum.
Sure.
We have students and we have professionals. We got moms and dads, and we've got, college students, or even a couple high school students and things.
Yeah.
It's a great way to, you're exposed to so many different people and that sort of thing. How long did it take for you to feel like you were really plugged into the community?
Not really that long. Like you said, there's a lot of different backgrounds there, and I'm continually learning from a whole lot of different people as I reach out to them and interact with them, what they do, and just learning from them. But I would say initially, like, you get in and it can be intimidating in a way that I didn't know what I was doing in the class, right? And I'm sure not everybody is there to socialize with people, and I wouldn't say that I was just there to socialize, but seeing a bunch of different people at different stages in their fitness journeys, either really conquering the workout or struggling with it, or like me, really struggling with it at first. It took a while to kind of develop those relationships with people, to where I could like reach out and ask, hey, how can I improve on this, and get that feedback from other people, coaches and athletes alike. So I would say, within the first few months, I was feeling pretty confident and comfortable with different people, and I tried a couple of different times of classes to meet. So I think it was a pretty quick and seamless transition into fitting in.
So you said that you tried some different class times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you go to more regularly now to a class?
Yeah, I'm at 4:30 pretty much every day of the week.
Okay.
If I miss a day, I'll go at Saturday mornings.
Yeah. With that 4:30 class, is it helpful to go to one specific class more consistently to kind of, because you see the same faces?
I think so. You see the same faces, you get the same coach, because the coaches are pretty much scheduled in the same time frame every day.
Yeah.
And it just matches with my schedule really well. But yeah, absolutely, with seeing the same people every day, getting to know them, there's a sense of unspoken accountability with people that, I want to show up to show people that I am invested, but I also like enjoy seeing the other people showing up every day and seeing, well, they're invested. I know that Troy's going to be here, so I'm going to come and work out with Troy every day, or whoever it may be.
Right.
But also the coach, Paul's there, and he's gotten to know me over the last year, and my abilities and everything. And it just helps to have someone consistently watching you, telling you, you can do this, you can do more than what you're doing. And that happens a lot.
Yeah. Or maybe don't do quite as much as you're trying to do.
Well,
maybe less so for you.
Well, maybe less so, but I think that Paul tends to just err on the other side of it, and maybe I am sandbagging it, but he tends to ask, why can't you, or not why can't you, but why not try more, or could you do a little bit more here? But I think that he does that knowing kind of a little bit more about myself, and I've seen him interact with other people the same.
Yeah.
To kind of push them a little bit.
Have you sat down with him for a goal review session?
Yeah, we've done that a few times.
How has that kind of shaped where you're headed and how you've approached your fitness goals and things like that?
That's a good question. The first time we sat down, I didn't really know what to expect. Talking about goals, it's going to sound bad, but I've never really been like a goal-oriented person, I wouldn't say. So understanding and trying to figure out what to strive for was difficult for me. So I really needed some feedback about what are other people what are their goals, and
Right.
maybe I can figure out what I want to do from there. But I think my goals are pretty simple. I just want to be consistent. I want to be healthy. I want to have longevity in my health and my wellness throughout my life. So it's never really been about, or at least initially, it wasn't really about trying to lift as much as possible. Although lately, like getting some PRs and things on lifts has been pretty exciting to see. It's great to see, the results of it on paper or, on productivity. But as far as just knowing what to strive for, it's always been kind of a difficult thing for me. So having someone like Paul kind of sit down and talk with me about it really is helpful for that.
You had mentioned that when you're working with the GAs and you're working on kind of their pedagogy and things like this, figuring out how you can connect with the people that you're teaching to keep them engaged and keep them progressing and help them retain things. What would be something that would kind of cross over for a coach? I know he said, hey, you could help us as coaches. Give us an idea of what's something that's in this type of a setting, that active of a setting, that you feel like would be something that is helpful to keep people engaged and motivated and progressing.
Yeah, I think that people are motivated by different things. So it's really about finding what certain people are interested in and what their strengths are, and really maybe even magnifying weaknesses and seeing like what can I improve upon here to develop that flow is what we kind of call in academia, where I'm not doing so little to where I'm bored with it, but I'm not doing so much to where I'm like burnt out and can't reach it. But constantly having that up and down where it's like I can attain this, but maybe sometimes I don't, and I need to do better to get there and be consistently interested in it. So trying to find that flow of ability and workouts, which are definitely written in a challenging manner for a lot of us, I'm sure. But that would be off the top of my head what I could think of right now.
Sounds like Paul does a little bit of that when he's pushing you, saying you can achieve more than that.
Yes. yeah. And then you see people around you who are in the same workout as you, and maybe they're doing the same weight, and so you see like something similar in your workouts, but they're pushing a little bit more than you, and you're like, well, they're taking a little bit of a shorter break than I am. Maybe I could try that just a little bit at a time, and improve that cardiovascular recovery mid-workout. And I just think that those things are very helpful.
Yeah. I don't know if on the camera they can see super clear that your mask has the baseball scorecard on it. I see at least 3 runs have been scored on there.
Okay.
Got some strikeouts.
Yeah,
and things.
there's a few strikeouts. So
what position do you play?
I played second base, and I play a little bit of outfield.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So is that a scorecard from a game you played in, or just
this is just what came with when we ordered it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you follow baseball now?
Yeah.
Who's your favorite team?
Well, I'm from Arkansas, so collegiately it doesn't get much better than the Razorbacks right now, in my opinion. But professionally, I'm a Atlanta Braves fan.
Okay. Would you give us a Razorbacks pig suey?
Wow.
It's all right if you don't want to.
I really don't. So that's interesting, because it's always fun to like ask about it, and people will do it like right now. Someone would do it right now. I don't enjoy doing the hog call.
Okay.
Like as a fan, I really don't. I think it's great to listen to and to see it, and I'm sorry for all my Razorback fans that may be watching this, but it doesn't make me love the team less to not hog call. I just choose not to. But that's funny that you mention it, because it's very popular in the state,
Yeah.
and I think it's very stigmatized outside of the state. Yeah.
There's a former basketball coach, Dana Altman,
Okay.
who
Yeah.
was at Creighton and then got hired at Arkansas, and they had wanted him to do the hog call at his.
He wouldn't do it.
He wouldn't do it,
He would not.
and then he also didn't end up being the coach there.
That's right. That was one of the weirdest almost hires I think ever. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he went to Oregon from there, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a bizarre. I remember that, just being like, oh, you would think that if you're gonna roll to a school that's got something
Right.
that distinct,
Oh yeah.
you should know that and be prepared
Oh yeah.
for it.
Yeah. Well, then you see some people that come in and they ask them to do that and then they completely butcher it, and it's like maybe even worse than not doing it at all. So, yeah.
I need a little coaching beforehand.
Yeah.
Would you want to coach baseball down there
Down.
at Arkansas?
Would I coach baseball at
Yeah.
Arkansas? Oh my gosh. Like if I were a good coach, yeah, I would love to. That'd be incredible. Arkansas has had, a great baseball coach for the past, 40 years, it seems, or plus. And right now they have, one of the best in the nation that came from Nebraska, actually.
Okay.
Dave Van Horn. So, yes, I would love to. No, I could not fill those shoes.
What do you wish you would have known about CrossFit when you started?
That it gets better. I almost said easier because it doesn't get easier. In a way, maybe yes, it does. But I wish that I knew that I should ease into it a little bit more. I think that coming in with an exercise background, especially with a lifting background, that I thought I could do a lot more than I could initially. And I think that kept me from coming consistently early on, in the first few weeks.
Sure.
Just the soreness alone, like physically limited me from standing up and coming back in. But just to, kind of come at it a little bit easier than I did is the biggest thing that I wish I knew then. And it's what I would tell people now, as far as advice for getting into it.
Yeah.
Which I think might be a question coming up later, but maybe I can.
It's all right. You can give it. You can jump right to it.
Yeah.
You're married.
Yeah.
How long you been married?
Oh gosh.
Put you on the spot.
I know. I think we just came across 6 years last fall.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Thanks.
You guys have any kids?
No kids.
Nope.
We have one dog who's
Yeah.
like a kid to us.
Yeah.
But
Your wife, I haven't seen her in the gym yet.
she's been a couple of Saturdays.
Oh,
whenever
really?
we used to have
Yeah.
open Saturdays.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of been her
Not her cup of
her
tea.
limit. She loves the yoga thing. She loves she just got into strength exercise actually recently,
Awesome.
and she's kicking butt with it, and she does a fitness app that she likes to follow.
Great.
And that's kind of her thing.
Yeah. We're all about find something that works for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
CrossFit's for everybody, or everybody should try CrossFit,
Mhm.
but it's not for everybody.
Yeah. And I was
Just like Nebraska.
yeah, exactly. And I was super happy that she tried it,
Yeah.
and she's always down for trying, challenging things. So, but I mean, she knows herself, and she knows that's not what she wants to do. But she definitely supports, me and everything. It's always fun to come home after workouts and talk about, what we did. She's always really interested in that, and it's fun to just, talk with her about what I do and then what she does as far as exercise.
That's kind of unusual. Most of the time when you got somebody who talks about CrossFit all the time, everybody gets tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and maybe she is. I don't know. She's not telling me, but she at least seems interested in it. So
that's a loving spouse right there.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Do you guys travel at all?
We love to travel. It's so funny. Like whenever you ask like that style of question, I think back to like the more immediate past, and it's like we haven't really done anything since March. But we do enjoy traveling. We've not had the resources to travel a whole lot together since we've been married. Me being a grad student for most of that time.
Right.
But before we got married, we both traveled quite a bit across the world and saw different things. So
Yeah.
I think that once things get back into the swing of traveling, that we'll try to get out there a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you've referenced a couple times like the more recent, like with the pandemic and things like this, how it's changed things. How did CrossFit change for you, and how did it help if it did?
Since the pandemic
Yeah,
started.
since March of last year.
Yeah. So, it changed in that initially, we were still coming in and things were being figured out, and then a decision was made at LNF to we're going to do things remotely for the time being because we're still trying to figure stuff out.
Right.
And I really appreciate everything that you all did as far as getting us equipment loaned out, allowing us to do as much as we could at home, and doing Zoom workouts with a group still was super helpful. If I had to just like drop it at that point and go home and try to figure out what I was going to do on my own, I don't know that I would still be doing it today. So
Yeah.
That really helped a lot with caring that much about your athletes and giving them the resources they could to do it. That's how it changed. For me was just doing it the same thing at home. And the second part of the question.
Yeah. Was it helpful like through the last 9 months, 10 months? How did that consistency of because you're sitting here because you were so consistent over 2020, even being at home and things like that.
Yeah.
Was it helpful to have that?
Yeah, definitely. Since I've been working from home, I think it's been super helpful just to have a time where I can get out of the house every day and go do something. We try to take the dog for a walk every day, but that doesn't really scratch the itch of not wanting to be, in my house all day.
Right.
So having that, time to get to the gym and interact with people in a very safe way, as you've all allowed for, has really helped me with consistency just throughout my day. Even it's a scheduled time where I know that I'm going to get to a certain point in the day, and I can separate work from the rest of the evening, and that workout time is kind of that separation, that time where I can go. Drop everything mentally and then come back home and, cook, eat dinner, hang out.
Yeah. All right. What would you tell somebody who's thinking about CrossFit, thinking about joining LNF?
Yeah. I would say give it a shot.
Yeah.
I would say give it a shot. And, people are going to be at various stages as far as commitment to it. Whenever I first started, I was very committed. I'd been wanting to do it for a while. Just didn't have the time or resources to do it until I got here. So my biggest advice would be to ease into it if you're not like really already that conditioned.
Yeah.
Because if you start in it and you go 100% the first workout and like try to do everything at prescribed, it's gonna kick your butt, and it's gonna make you kind of feel down a little bit, because I did it first. Like how am I gonna get back in here as many times as I want a week throughout a whole year? And I would just say ease into it, but stay consistent. Work through soreness, because a lot of that can help too. I think the first week I started, I was like, it was a different kind of soreness. I don't know that I could have worked through that, but now I'm getting to where, and I've gotten to where over the year that you have a hard workout, you're sore, but like you get back in and go, and it's like it works itself out, and it's not too much. So just ease into it, but stay consistent.
Yeah, figuring out what's the difference between injury and growth.
Exactly. Yeah, I had a football coach in middle school who in middle school, you're like, "Coach, I'm hurt," and he's like, "Are you hurt or are you injured?" I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" Well, if you're hurt, you can go back in. If you're injured, we probably need to check it out.
Yeah.
And kids go back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What, you played some football then too?
Yeah, I played football middle school and high school.
Okay. What position were you in football?
I was a linebacker.
Okay. Like to hit things.
Yes. Very defensive minded, very much enjoyed contact and all of that.
That's probably what you probably enjoyed, second base, with the guy coming to steal second or sliding into second, you get to lay him out.
Yeah, a lot of action. It's a cerebral position, a lot happening right there. So same with linebacker. You're like the quarterback of the defense, or at least one of maybe two or three.
You ever run through the catcher at home plate?
I did. Yes, I did. It's a funny story if you want me to tell.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we were playing a team at home. It was like one of our first games of the season, my junior year. And I'm on third base, ball's hitting the outfield, tagging up. I'm running home. and the catcher is like standing in front of the plate. So in my view, like I just kept running and I ran straight through and the ball never came and I hit him. And he laid out, and I think he had to go to the hospital. I think he had facial stitches maybe from where my helmet hit him. And and from my perspective, it was like, well, he was just standing there. Like, I didn't mean to hit him. And the very next day, on the front page of the sports page, they show me with like my teeth gritted. I'm like, get ready. And I'm like going in for a hit, you know, and it's just like, oh my gosh, that's not how I remembered it all. So
it looked like you wound up and like prepared for it.
It looked like I had planned it all along. Yeah, it was a bad look.
Was it a rival school?
No, it was just a smaller school, kind of a tune-up game, getting ready for the season. Unfortunately, that makes it even worse.
Well, I have to admit that when I was 12, I played summer ball, and I also ran through a catcher, and I got thrown out of the game because it was not allowed in that league.
Yeah, I actually got thrown out too.
Did you really?
I don't think they were planning on doing that until they figured out the kid was hurt, and parents were mad, and so my coach even said, like, you did the right thing, but they're going to have to throw you out of the game.
That's basically what my coach told me.
That's funny, yeah.
You grew up watching Major League Baseball. What do you expect?
Exactly.
You see it all the time there.
Yeah, well, used to. I mean, they've changed a lot of rules now to where it helps, but there's been a lot of that.
What's your favorite style of CrossFit workout?
Oh, style of workout. Without really still knowing too much about different styles, I would say something that's a little intermediate. Like
15 minutes, 15 minutes long.
Something in there. And we've done some of those lately.
Do you like an AMRAP, or do you like
so
like
more,
it's 4 rounds and that's it, or 5 rounds and you're done?
I don't like repeating the same thing over and over again. Yeah. So AMRAPs, or like you have 3 rounds or 5 rounds of these types of workouts and just cycle through them. I really don't like doing that. I like the chipper style workouts where it's like do 30 reps of this, 50 reps of this, and like go through it, and it's like you can just check it off and move along.
Yeah. But kind of that not super fast.
Yeah.
We just recently tested Grace.
Yeah.
The 30 clean and jerks.
Yep.
And that's usually supposed to be 5 minutes or less. How'd that go for you?
Yeah, and I did enjoy that workout, so maybe I shouldn't say not the fast ones.
But every once in a while. You wouldn't want to do a Grace every day.
No, not every day. But I did pretty good on it this time, better than I had the last 2 times. So I was really happy with that. Able to do it at the RX weight for the first time.
Awesome.
So that was good.
Awesome. Do you remember what your time was?
Yeah, it was 3:58.
That's good. That's a really good time.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
I'd done
for the first time at RX, especially.
Right. And I had done like 115 and I think 95 before,
and
it was slower those 2 times. So doing more weight and doing it faster, it was really promising.
From a physical perspective, what has been the biggest change from what your body can do? What from that over that year or a little over a year? Yeah,
I would say the biggest marked difference for me has been shoulder strength and stability, especially overhead. Being a linebacker in high school, I destroyed my shoulders.
Sure.
So, and I never really worked out to strengthen that back, or to do what I needed to do to kind of reconstruct or rehab that damage. But so overhead strength and stability of my shoulders has been pretty bad over the last few years. But doing stuff here, and even just simple things like overhead lunges or like kettlebell work. I'm talking about like single armed, Turkish get ups and things like that. Just things that you're holding kettlebells over your head and stabilizing it while you're moving has been really, really helpful for me. And it's helped with, my pressing and, thrusters and anything that kind of gets the bar over the head or a dumbbell or kettlebell over the head.
Sure. If there was a movement that you could get rid of and we'd never have to do it ever again, what movement would that be?
I want to say burpee because I can't stand any kind of burpee, and I think that's probably a popular answer, but I know how beneficial those are, so I don't think I'd ever want to get rid of it. Gosh, the devil press, those probably could be, rid from the earth and no one would be upset.
Let's take a burpee and add a bunch of weight to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
What would you, if you were going to write a workout for yourself, like this is the Cody workout, what would that be? What kind of movements would be in there, I should say?
Oh, a lot of cleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the cleans, squat cleans, power cleans, but mixed with some on the bar work, so maybe some toe to bar, maybe some pull ups.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Cool. Anything else you want to add? Anything you want to tell the people out there? Anybody you want to say hi to that you're going to make listen to this?
Yeah, I told my mom I'd tell her hi. So hey, mom, and yeah, I just want to say CrossFit is it's been very enjoyable for me. It's been something that I've wanted to do for a while. Finally, was able to get in and have the time and resources to do it, and over the last year, it's been a great experience for me, getting to know people, getting to build community with people, and work out alongside people who have like common goals and common mission for their wellness. So that's been really cool. The coaching system is great. You're not in there by yourself. You're not in there like writing your own workouts and trying to figure it all out on your own. So that's been super helpful, and the programming has been amazing. And then just really appreciate the people that show up and work out with me every day. So.
Yeah. I do have one more question.
Yeah.
So we taped lines on the floor to keep people spaced out.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered, when we first started coaching that way, it seemed really quiet. Like people imagine this barrier in between, and it's hard for people. I wondered if, because you talk about how much and how big the community and getting to meet people, how has that affected kind of the interaction between athletes with the spacing?
Separated.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think initially people were a little apprehensive to come in and really talk a whole lot. For the most part, I mean, some people, it's not a big deal to them anyway, but I would just say that over time it's kind of been like getting comfortable with being separated, but still like being able to come back and talk to people. And I think that I come in with the mindset of I want to talk to somebody every day. I'd prefer it to be someone new every day, but I work out with the same people, so it's kind of hard to do that. But I kind of like to push people to respond and engage in conversation. So I think that it's been something that people are getting more used to, and it's been a really good thing to keep separation. But Paul reminds us a lot. There's lines here, but there's no wall. You can actually talk through it. You just can't walk through it. So appreciate that as well.
Awesome. Well, Cody, hey, man, it's been a pleasure to sit and talk to you and hear about you and your experience. And congratulations on being our December Athlete of the Month and just being so consistent and bringing a positive energy. And we appreciate you interacting and engaging with other athletes in the gym and being a great ambassador for us. Yeah,
thanks a lot for having me today and for everything with the December Athlete of the Month. I really appreciate that. It's an honor, and it's good to be here with you today.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll catch you guys next time.